Hey everyone, the Collector 27 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Figuarts Avengers Endgame Final Battle Edition Thor. So let's take a look. Alright, so for accessories, Thor comes with a lot of accessories. Again, this is more of a deluxe edition of the figure. They did release the previous version of this Thor, which was not as detailed, and I did not get because it was actually a Japan exclusive, if I'm correct, and ordering it and getting it delivered to the United States was quite expensive, and I'm glad I didn't get them because this one is a lot better. So, um, some of the main differences from the images I've seen, and if I'm not going to be lazy and I'll actually edit this video and take some time on it, I might throw up an image around here of the other figure just as a comparison. But one major thing that was a big difference was that this Thor comes with two head sculpts. He comes with the regular version, let's see, of this Thor. There's a bit of a scuff on his forehead, and oh, never mind. It was just a just a fuzz. Never mind. Just a little piece of lint. But he comes with this regular Thor head, and just trying to get the lighting under. The lighting is a little bit wonky today. Let's see if I can move the camera a little bit closer and get under this lighting. There we go. That's better. Excuse me. Allergies, guys. Allergies. It's allergy season. Anyway, the store, the face print is pretty good. Obviously, the closer you get under the camera, it's going to be a little bit more pixelated, a little bit more choppy. But if you're having him on the shelf and it's from this far away, it's going to look pretty good. In my opinion, I think this looks like what we saw in the film. Looks like what we saw in Avengers Endgame. It looks really good. You can tell that he has two different colored eyes. Obviously, one being the robotic eye that he got in Infinity War from Rocket, and then you have his regular blue eye. And so, yeah, I think that looks really good. So let's see. But this one also comes with the lightning effect. The eyes, the lightning eyes, and that's really cool. Um, Obviously, both of them are painted blue for that lightning effect, and yeah, it looks really good. The one thing I just don't understand from the film, and we could kind of talk about the film a bit, is the fact that his right eye, or I guess if you're watching this on the left, the brown eye, the robotic eye, is just how did that light up with, electricity with lightning if it's a robotic eye? Um, I don't think it would have done that. They probably just did it so it would look cooler. Because can you imagine if one eye was brown, and then the other was like lightning effect and blue? Like if one didn't light up like that, I don't know. I think it would be a little strange if it didn't. But I think it looks cool anyway. It's a comic book movie. Not everything's gonna be accurate. We're talking about a guy who flies, has a magical hammer, and an axe, and has lightning. So I don't think we could really talk about accuracy too much to reality. Anyway, the sculpts are exactly the same. You can see the little hair strands. Um, on my copy, at least, there is a slight difference in paint. I feel like the regular head has more gold on the hair than the lightning effect head with the lightning eyes. I feel like there's more gold on just the regular head, and a little paint flake right there. Anyway, um, that's just something I've noticed. You can kind of tell in the beards. This one looks like there's more brown on the mustache and near the chin area. This one looks like there's more gold. Um, I will say I think that the gold is a little heavy on the hair. I mean, this looks like he has like metallic hair, and that's not very accurate. Like, yes, Chris Hemsworth, the actor, he does have blonde hair, but it's more of like a dirty blonde where it is more brownish, I guess. So I think it could have been a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter handed on the gold. It is a little heavy. I guess that's one of my only complaints. There is this hair neck piece that goes on the peg for when you're changing out the head, so that way there's no gap in between. And I'll show how that works out a little bit more when we put the accessories on the figure. But he also comes with some interchangeable hands, and he comes with some fists. He comes with the hands that are made for holding Stormbreaker, his axe. He comes with some that are made for holding Mjolnir, the hammer, and also some, I guess, like summoning hands where he can like summon either weapon, and then just some relax hands, um, just because why not? So those are his 5 different pairs of hands. Then, well, I guess we'll go over here first. He comes with a lot of lightning effects. This one, I call it the lightning scarf because it just goes around the figure, and I'll show how to put it on there. But it's just one piece to show the lightning effects around the chest. And then he has 2 for his, or I guess 2 lightning effects, one for each wrist, one for the right, one for the left. They're a little hard to differentiate at first and find out which one's which, but you kind of have to play match the shape. And then he has these 2 lightning effects, one for each leg. There's actually another lightning effect, which is it's kind of like a ring, but this is for like his upper thigh, only for the left leg. And they all came out really good. They're all in this translucent blue. I don't think we've seen any of these before. This one is for Stormbreaker, to put it on Stormbreaker. And then we have, let's see, these little caps, I like to call them, for the ends of Mjolnir. And I'll show how to put these on. These we have seen before. We saw these with the Avengers Endgame Final Battle Edition Captain America, along with this same Mjolnir. So he comes with that as well. And then this other effect for Mjolnir as well. There's a little hair on there. Goes on the top of Mjolnir for, I guess, like shooting out the lightning. And we saw that with the same Captain America figure for the Final Battle Edition Captain America figure from SH Figuarts. So those are reuse. And then we have seen this before. This is the one that came with the other version of the Endgame Thor, along with the Infinity War Thor. It's Stormbreaker. I guess my only complaint for this is that it feels real small in comparison to the figure from what we see in the movie. You know, just I felt like this should have been bigger, and I know that that is something that another company, Mafex or Mafex, however you say it, for their final battle Thor, they actually made their Stormbreaker a lot larger than the Infinity War one was. So they fixed that, but SH Figuarts didn't. So I guess that's my only complaint. I would like to get a new Stormbreaker, maybe to have one that's a little bit larger to fit better in scale with this figure. I just don't know of any people who sell just a Stormbreaker with the accurate shape and colors just by itself. So if you know someone who sells, like if anyone knows a third-party company or someone who 3D prints them, or some sort of upgrade kit, let me know in the comments below. Comment down below where I could get a more accurately sized Stormbreaker, or like an upgrade. I know that Noda Studio, I've reviewed some other stuff before, but I know that Noda Studio was going to have a Stormbreaker and a Thor headset for the Infinity War Thor, and they had a Stormbreaker in there, and it was a lot bigger and accurate. And they had to have for pre-order on their site, but then they took it down afterward, and now I can't find it anywhere. It's like no one ever heard of it, but I remember seeing it out there. I'm not crazy. But yeah, I'd like to get a new Stormbreaker, something a little bit more accurately sized to proportion with this Thor figure. So yeah, so those are all the accessories, and now let's go into the next section where we put them on the figure. Okay, so now we're going to put the some of the accessories onto this Thor figure, and we're going to show how that works out, and then we'll get into the articulation, or details and then articulation. But let's see. Gosh, this is why I need a bigger review station. It's a little crowded here with all the stuff. Okay, so obviously some of the stuff is down here. You can't see it. I don't want to zoom out too much, but Let's just put his head on first. Obviously, he is without his hands and without his head right now. So, with this neck piece, that's what I was talking about before. I'm sorry, this hair piece, it goes onto the neck right there, and it kind of slides around a little bit, but that's so when you put a head on, let's put on the regular one, without that hair piece, you would have that gap back there. That just looks kind of strange. I mean, it kind of helps with him looking up a little bit, and I'll talk about that more in the articulation, but let's see. Ugh, his head's a little tight. There we go. So let's put that right there, that little hair piece, and then we'll put, actually, you know what? I'm going to switch it up. Sorry, guys. I'm going to put this lightning effect head on because that's the one that comes with this figure. So that's exclusive to this version, the final battle version. And then let's put one Stormbreaker holding hand on so we could have him holding Stormbreaker. And I guess another complaint I have with this, and you'll see right now, is if I grab Stormbreaker and I put it in his hand, it just slides in there, but it's really, really loose. He doesn't grab it. It's the way the hand is molded. Like, this is just really loose. Like, I know that there are another third-party company, like Maniple, when they had their Infinity War Thor head sculpt, it came with a pair of hands as well that were made for holding Mjolnir, or I'm sorry, Stormbreaker better, just because these are real loose. It flops around and doesn't hold it very well. So that's just another gripe I have with this figure, are the hands, and these are the same hands that have been seen on the Infinity War version, the Endgame version that was exclusive, and then now this final battle Thor from Endgame. Which, by the way, if I haven't mentioned before, I actually got this figure from my local GameStop. GameStop is now starting to have SH Figuarts figures, mostly from Marvel, and I've seen a couple of Dragon Ball Z and like 2 Harry Potter ones, which I'm not into Dragon Ball Z or Harry Potter, but for those of you who are, and you like the Bandai SH Figuarts brand, you could go to your local GameStop or online. So here is the Mjolnir holding hand, and in a bit I'll bring out, I have another SH Figuarts Thor. I have the Thor from Age of Ultron, and we'll compare the two. So let's see if I can back up here a little bit more. Let's see. Goodness. Lift this up. There we go. That's better. Now we can see his face. And now, let me grab Mjolnir, and we're just gonna unplug that. So, the way this works is that there is this kind of weird, I'm not sure if you could even see it. It's not a round peg. One side is rounded off and the other side is flat. And I'm not sure how well that's coming across on camera, but you really have to play match the shape in there, because it's kind of like this shape of a capital D, like that type of letter, and it's like if you go one way, it won't go in. So you really have to play match the shape, and it'll just, once you find it, it goes in, right? So that could be kind of frustrating, just because I feel like it would be a lot easier if it was just a rounded peg with a rounded hole, and then that way you could just twist it around and you never really have to find that perfect area to just finally connect the two, right? I feel like SH Figuarts has done that a lot. I don't really collect the SH Figuarts Star Wars stuff. I haven't really been a huge fan of any of those. I don't think they've been done that well. They tend to have a lot of issues, so I stay away from the SH Figuarts Star Wars stuff. But I do watch the reviews on them, and from what I've seen is that they're doing this type of system too with a lot of their figures for different accessories, like with the Mandalorian, and I can see how much of a pain that could be. So anyway, but let's just get that into his hand. So it's kind of like, obviously it's a closed off hand where the fingers connect to the thumb. They're all connected. There's no separation there, so you could just slide the handle through his hand, and then play match the shape with the hammer portion and the handle, and then once you have it in there, you have him holding Mjolnir. There you go. So there you go. Now he's holding both of those, right? So now let's just put some of the lightning effects on him. I probably should have done this after, but I wanted to show him how he looks just without the lightning effects, just holding his weapons, right? So I guess we could just pop off the hand and just put that aside, and we're gonna play match the shape with these. And like I said, these could be a little confusing. These arm pieces, one, they're specifically made for the right or left. They're not. At least that's how it feels on my figure. Because if I get one on there, okay, see, I got this one right. But if I, um, like, if I were to have this one on the other one, it wouldn't go on the arm. This one went on the arm easily, probably because I had it. I just got lucky with it. I got it right the first time. So there you go. So now we have that part on his right arm. We have that lightning effect. Um, that's what I was trying to say. Is that this lightning effect? It feels like it should be able to fit on either side, but that's not the case. At least not on my figure. It feels like they're designated to each side. But let's see. So Stormbreaker, there's a lightning effect for that, and there's a couple ways you put it. The instructions say it's supposed to go on the back portion right here, and just kind of weave around there, and then you just turn it like that, and it's just friction based. There's no peg. It just wraps around the back of Stormbreaker, and that looks really good. That's pretty accurate to what we see in the movie. I have seen some people put it like this though, around the handle for like some ACBA photography, where it looks like it's kind of like summoning the lightning, and I don't really know, but you're not really supposed to put it that way. Doesn't look that good either, because you have all this gappage right here, and it doesn't fit flush against the rest of the axe. So I just keep it the way it's supposed to be. So now let's just put it in his hand, and now you have him holding Stormbreaker. He has all his lightning effects there. I guess I should probably take off this hand too. Stand. There we go. And now that I have Mjolnir in hand, I'm just going to put the lightning effects on this. Let's see where they go. Alright, so this can be kind of tricky sometimes. I mean, probably for me it's going to be a little bit tricky right now, considering I just cut my nails not too long ago. But you're supposed to get your fingernail. There's this little slit right there, a little space between this cap piece and the rest of the hammer, and you just lift it, and then once you get it out, you kind of just go wiggle it a little bit, wiggle it loose. There you go. And I don't really like these. I don't like the way this functions. This feels like, with me, I'm hopefully not, but it feels like I would be bound to lose one of these. And the weird thing is that Mjolnir, the whole hammer itself, is cast in a translucent blue plastic. Like, I understand these being cast in translucent blue plastic because it's mainly lightning with silver painted over the cap part right there, but the rest of it is all, I would have figured it would have been a gray plastic with a silver coating. I don't know, maybe for the factory blue plastic's cheaper. But anyway, the thing I don't like about these is, first of all, I feel like this is way too many parts, too many small parts that could just be lost at any moment. Like, if I drop this in the carpet, it's gone, and then it's gonna end up being vacuumed up, and it's gone forever, and then you're gonna be left with something like this where it's just empty now. I felt like it could have been a whole lot cheaper. I think it would have been cheaper too in terms of plastic usage, is if they would have used a similar lightning effect like the one on Stormbreaker to wrap around Mjolnir. That just seems so much easier to me. Just because this is really frustrating sometimes, because I've dropped these before, and thank goodness I have not lost them. But I've dropped them multiple times. And then another thing is too, is that you have to play match the shape with these. They're not the same for both sides. This one, there's a slight single notch on top, and you can see that there's a single, like, slit right there up top. So when you do put them in, they're designated to that one side. And if I were to take, let's see, I'm going to put this down. Hopefully I don't lose it. If I were to take this side off right here, let's see, this one has 2 notches and then 2 slots right there. So you're constantly having to play match the shape. And I know that's how it was on the Final Battle Edition Captain America figure, but that's very, very frustrating for me. Um, at least in my opinion it is. Again, this is all based off of my opinion. If you're fine with the system and you think it works great, then hey, that is your opinion. I just don't want any hate comments in the comment section, telling me that my opinion is dumb and whatnot, because, maybe it is, but it's my opinion. Anyway, but let's see. See, this lightning effect piece right here has the single notch right here, but imagine if I weren't paying that much attention and I'm just wanting to switch them out, you can't force that in there. It's not going to work, right? So you have to play match shape, turn it around, that side's for that side, there you go. Get the other piece, and then plug it into this side, and that's how it's supposed to be, right? So, anyway, there are options for this hammer, though, for Mjolnir. You could have him hold it like this, where there's just the lightning on both sides. You could have the lightning on one side if you wanted. It is your action figure. You do with it as you please. So, just for those who really want to see what it looks like with one lightning, I guess, effect on there, there's that. I don't know why you'd want that, but there you go. You can have one side have lightning and the other not, or you can have both sides have lightning. You can have no sides have lightning. That is up to you. See, look, now I'm having trouble getting this part off. Oh my gosh. Let's see. There we go. Anyway. It's good now. There we go. So, there you go. There's that. That's if you'd like it like that. But let's just take these off real quick, so that way we can now put this huge lightning effect on the top of Mjolnir. And so on the top of Mjolnir, there's this little cap piece, this little plug part. And so the way you're supposed to take this off is kind of strange. You press down on it on one side, and then it lifts up. So if you didn't see that, you press down on one side, and the other lifts up, and then you can just get under there with your nail and unplug it. And again, this goes with the same complaint. The amount of frustration I have with this is I have dropped this little piece so many times, and I have not lost it, obviously, because I still have it right here, but it is so small, right? And I know there have been smaller pieces with some other SH Figuarts, but this just seems unnecessarily small. Like, I feel like with the amount of plastic here, right, and the amount of plastic here, that they could have just given us a completely different Mjolnir. At least the top portion, like the silver part right here, the actual hammer head part itself, and that had all the lightning effects on it, to just switch out, because this is beyond frustrating, switching these out. And I just dropped that piece. Okay, let's see. There it is. Alright. So, anyway, once you switch it out, you take this little cap piece, you hopefully put it aside. I honestly got a little Ziploc bag just for all these accessories, because I don't like keeping them in the box in case I want to switch them up on my collection or in my shelf or something like that. But I also don't like losing them, so I'm not just going to keep them out in the open. So I literally just got a little Ziploc bag. Anyway, for this, you're going to again play match the shape, because it goes a certain way. It has this, like, I don't know, I keep calling it, because it looks like the letter D, like a capital. It has that type of shape to it, where one side is squared off, the other side is rounded. And once you get it in there, let's see, did I get in there? I think so. Maybe not, possibly. Yes, I did. There you go. Once you get it in there, it is in there. It's good. It stays in there pretty tight. It's not going to fall out. It's not super heavy, so you can hold it and have it go forward like that, and I'll show that off later. But you get the lightning effects, and then now you can put them into the designated side, because I literally just messed up on camera again and almost put it in the wrong spot. But let's see, there we go. Anyway, you just get all these little lightning effects lined up, and now you have this gigantic lightning burst of energy that he's shooting out. And we did see that in the film. We saw him do that. Um, anyway, let's just get these other effects on. Let's see, is this it? Maybe? No? No, there you go. See, that's another thing. When I first got this package, the arm pieces look so similar. Let's see, I don't honestly, guys, I'm sorry, I don't have enough room to put this on the way it is right now. So I'm just gonna take off this top piece, and we're gonna put that little cap back on, and then we're just gonna have him hold it with a couple of lightning effects. There we go. I honestly don't even use that giant piece in my display anyway. It takes up too much room. There we go. Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, when I first got this out package, the instructions, they're pretty clear overall. I mean, it has some English translation, but the vast majority of it is in Japanese. Obviously, this being an import figure, the instructions are not super clear, but also trying to figure out which effect is which is kind of difficult and kind of a pain. Because when I first got this out package, I got the arm pieces and the leg pieces confused. Just because the leg pieces, the hole is not that much larger, and it's actually supposed to go around the ankle. So let's show that off right now. So to put these pieces on, you're probably questioning, you're like, whoa, how are you supposed to put this on? It's not going to fit over the foot, right? You actually have to pop off the foot, which was so difficult to do when I first got this figure and I took it out of package. It took a lot of messing around with it, and so one thing is good is that there's an R in there, so obviously that's for his right leg, and then an L is in the other one for his left leg. But anyway, taking the foot off was so difficult to do. But then again, with this figure, finding the difference between the left and right piece for the legs of the lightning effects, there's no number or letter indicator. It's literally just playing match the shape, and if you get it, you get it. So I got that one. I was putting on the wrong one when I was talking just not too long ago, so that could be kind of frustrating. So there you go. There's the right leg. Here's that one. So let's pop off this left leg, and they're very easy to pop off now, which is good. It's nice. It's kind of loosened up a bit, but not to the point where it's gonna like fall off or anything like that. So anyway, this is the thigh piece. You just slide it up, and it's kind of friction based, but the way it's sculpted is that there's this little notch right here, this little bump, and it actually fits right within the fold of this clothing area, and you can actually feel it. It kind of has a little click to it, which is kind of cool, a little satisfying too, because it just stays there, and it's all friction based, so that's nice. But then you put on the ankle lightning piece, and then you pop the foot back on. Let's see. Popping on with the lightning piece is always a little scary because they're rubbery, they're not sharp, but I always have a little subconscious fear that I'm going to break something, and breaking an import figure is never fun. So, anyway. And as for the last lightning piece, there we go. We have the lightning scarf. Looks good. Very good. And I call it the lightning scarf because this is the easiest lightning piece there is. It literally just goes boop around his head, and wow, there you go, lightning. Yeah, it's not bad. I think it's good. I like it. It does its job. From the front, it looks like there's lightning. It looks very electrifying. From the back, it goes around his head like that, and that's why I call it a lightning scarf. Kind of funny. If you're looking at it from the back, but if you're looking at it from the front, it looks good. One thing I think it was Mafex did with their Infinity War Thor, and I believe they're doing it again with their Endgame Thor, is that they made these little circular pieces on his chest and abdomen area pop off as separate pieces, and then you put a lightning piece in there with that effect on it. And that again is, I guess, their downfall, because that's another small part you gotta have. So I'm not a huge fan of obviously, I think you could tell by now that I've complained about so much. I'm not a fan of all the small parts that they've had SH Figuarts and Mayfix. That's why I didn't get the Mayfix version. And this one, I guess I just traded out small parts for small parts. They all have their own little issues here and there, things that I wish were done better, but they're not. There we go. But I think this looks really good. I think it gets the job done. It looks very nice on the shelf. Yeah, I like it. So, rather than cutting this video part and then editing the next, I think we're just going to get right into the articulation. I'm just going to do one solid take on this and really hope that I don't mess up on anything and have to edit it. The less work I have to do, the better. Anyway, let's do some of the articulation with all the lightning parts on there so you can see, because I don't know what type of poses you guys would like to get him into. Me, I'm not going to pose him like crazy, but anyway. Yeah, anyway. Okay. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're just gonna take this raw. So anyway, I'm just gonna look at the details first, okay? There's not too much going on here. Let's move that out of the way. But he has these little, I don't know what to call them exactly. They look like little, I guess, I don't know if they're scratches or like little electric symbols. I don't really know what these are called. Just the design of it looks really cool. The eyes go from, it looks like a white, but it's actually like a baby blue in his eyes, and then it's surrounded by a darker ring of blue, which gives it that effect of light. The cape is done very well. A cloth cape, I always like a cloth cape better than a hard plastic shell cape, which we will compare to the other Thor in a bit at the end of this video. But it's done well, it's good. It has two pieces, which is kind of strange to me, that there's this black piece and then the red piece sewn together, and then there's actually a metal wire in there for posing, but it actually doesn't do that much, because I don't know if it's just a defect on mine or if it's on all the copies, but the wire doesn't connect to the actual torso or the chest itself. So it stops right here, so it's just real floppy, and that's on both sides. I didn't break that either, so it's not like the wire was connected in there and now it's just broken and flopping around. That's how it was when I got it off package. Let me know down in the comments below if yours is like that too. I don't know if the wire should be going all the way in, but it feels like this wire should be connected somewhere in here. That way it can stay up, because if I were to pose it as if it's like flowing, only the bottom stays up right here, but not all the way up top. So, but most likely I'm just going to have him standing on the shelf as if he just summoned Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, something like this, with the cape just flowing downward. So that's not too bad. I do like, let's see, it's a little hard to see now that I put the lightning effects on, but there's kind of like this little rustic type of look. So there's the gold trim around there, but there's some dirt near the bottom of the boots. And even, it's kind of hard to see, it's real light on the tread of the boots and around there, but there's some like scuffage and stuff like that as if he's been fighting. It's very light though, just because he's not a bloody or damaged version of Thor, so there's no bleeding on the face. The face is clean on both sculpts, and it's not as heavy as they were on the Endgame Captain America, the Final Battle Edition. He just looks really chalky. I don't think I'm gonna get that one. I think I'm gonna skip out on that one. Yeah, because that one didn't look too good, and I'm happy with my Marvel Legends one. The Marvel Legends one did really well. There we go. And so now we'll just do some articulation. The articulation with this is pretty much the same, but this is going to be falling off very easily because it doesn't clip on anything. So just for the sake of my sanity, I'm going to take this off for now. The rest of the stuff can stay. It doesn't hinder anything. The top, like, chest kind of has this rotation. It doesn't turn very much. It just pivots a little, which is kind of unfortunate. The head doesn't look up that much. Like I said, if you take off that hairpiece, let's see if I can do it. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Wow, that took some might. Let's see, if you take off that hairpiece and then put the head on top, it looks a little strange because you have that gap back there, but he looks up a lot more. So I guess if you want to have him in a flying position and you don't want that hairpiece back there, you can totally do that. That is up to you. It is your action figure. I mean, not this one, but the one that you own is your action figure. You could do whatever you want with it. There you go. Anyway, he has these butterfly joints, which work out pretty good. They're not the best butterfly joints. He can't cross his arms or anything, obviously. Oh, and his arm just fell out. Yeah, good thing it didn't break. That would have been bad if it would have broke. I would have probably cried on camera. But there you go. Pop back in. Nice and easy. Butterfly joints, can't cross his arms, but they could go out pretty well, but it kind of helps. It's okay. It's not the best. I always say it's better to have more articulation than to have less. So I'd rather him have a bit of a butterfly joint than no butterfly joint at all. His arms can go out almost 90 degrees. It gets a little tight up in there just because of the, I guess like the kind of chainmail type of sculpt to it, and you probably wouldn't want to push it any further in the case that you'd break it. I just wouldn't want that. Instead of there being a bicep cut or anything like that, he actually has a rotation at the elbow, which is kind of interesting because he only has a single jointed elbow, but it actually bends in a little bit more than 90 degrees. So that's nice. And it fits in well. It's not sticking out, because sometimes when import companies have done a single joint elbow, the ball joint there really tends to stick out, and sometimes it just doesn't look good. But in this case it does. It fits in well. It's a black joint. The rest of it's silver. It's probably better. I mean, the black is not standing out too much, but maybe if they could have done a dark gray, that would have been better. Possibly. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me though. The wrists are on a ball joint, so they could go side to side, and then if you want to rotate it, they could have that up and down motion now. So it gets a little hindered if you have the lightning pieces on. It could bend more than that if you take them off, but what else are you going to do? You're not going to be bending them around like crazy. He has a lower ab crunch, I guess you could say, or more like a waist swivel, but that's under his big old belly, because this is bro Thor, fat Thor, body positive Thor, whatever you want to call him. Anyway, which doesn't bend forward that much. So I guess with both combined, he gets a good amount of ab crunch. So that's nice. That's always the good thing about import figures, is they usually double up on the articulation here. So when one doesn't really bend that much and the other doesn't really bend that much, if you use them both together, it'll bend pretty good. So good job, Bandai, SH Figuarts. Obviously, with this being SH Figuarts, his thighs do shift down, but they don't shift down a whole lot like we've seen in previous SH Figuarts figures from Marvel. These don't shift down so much. It might be just because the sculpt is bigger. He is supposed to be a larger version of Thor. So I guess that's kind of nice. But anyway, he has a double jointed knee, which he cannot kick his butt because all this gets in the way. It's not because of the lightning, it's just because he doesn't go that far. And then his ankles, they do move down a good amount for the lightning being there as well. They move up okay. I think the lightning, no, it's not getting in the way. That's as far as up as it'll move. He has toe articulation, and he has really good ankle pivot actually. And that's because the ball joint in there is actually sculpted at a curve. So that is nice. There we go. And that goes the same on both sides with both head sculpts, with all the hands. We are good, and I think that should be the end of this video. Maybe. Actually, we're going to do comparisons, and then that'll be the end of this video. Alright, so for comparison, here we have the Avengers Age of Ultron Thor from SH Figuarts, and gosh, wow, this came out a long time ago. I never reviewed this one because I got it long before I was reviewing. But, wow. You could just see how far SH Figuarts has come from when they just first started, I guess. I mean, this is from, I want to say 2015, I believe. So 6 years ago. So this is 6 years old versus, I think this came out at the end of 2020. So I so about 5, almost 6 years old at that time, and then this brand new one. And so it is a lot better. If you look, even, it's not perfect, but the Endgame version has the likeness of Chris Hemsworth down. This one was just not good at all. The beard was choppy. The sculpt wasn't bad. It looks good, like the suit and everything like that. But man, this needed an upgrade, really, really bad. And Mjolnir kind of had a bit of like a yellowish tint to it, goldish tint. That might be because of age, of how it's been a little bit discolored, but I think it's always been like that. The new one is a lot more better in terms of silver color. But yeah, but this one also had the really creepy head where you split it apart, and then you just had the eyes. The eyes, they're creepy. Yeesh, that is freaky. Anyway, let's put those back in there. That's how the import companies used to do it. Yeah, that was really creepy. Anyway, but yeah, this new figure is a whole lot better. The new SH Figuarts figures are a lot better. Honestly, I would really like to see them redo. Let's see if he'll stand. See, he has trouble standing because of that plastic cape, so he's leaning on his plastic cape right now. And this was terrible. Look at this. This isn't even a cape. It came in 3 parts, and who thought it was a good idea to have a cape articulate like this? Like, oh my gosh, it's disgusting. It's like having a surfboard on your back. Anyway, I would really like to see Bandai SH Figuarts redo their Age of Ultron figures. Honestly, this sculpt is really good. This looks like a cool Thor figure. Like, just cover up that head, and it's a good Thor figure. Like, honestly, where do I get a better head sculpt and a cape for this figure? Because it was a good Thor figure for the time. Still is, but just that one is a way better, way better head sculpt. And cloth cape makes it 10 times easier to pose and a lot more fun. So, anyway. Here we have him next to the Avengers Endgame, slightly dusty, SH Figuarts Mark 85 with the Noda Studio head sculpt of Tony Stark and the Noda Studio Infinity Gauntlet. Thanks to Noda Studio, Giant Heads, the company, whatever you want to call them, for producing this, I didn't have to get the Endgame Final Battle version or the snapping version or whatever that one was called, because this one did the job. I just had to get one, and it made it a whole lot easier, and that one just still looks amazing to this day. And yes, at the time of the recording of this video, I did see the leaks and the rumors for the Marvel Legends one. Still sticking with this guy. I might still get the 2-pack with Iron Man and Thor, but I think I'm gonna stick with this one. So, and then for my last comparison, we have the Avengers Endgame Marvel Legends Captain America with the Noda Studio shield and hammer set, and that looks a lot better. And honestly, these scale pretty well. See, Thor is still taller than this Marvel Legends Captain America. He should be maybe just a ½ inch taller, and that would scale even better. But if you want to fit the SH Figuarts into your Marvel Legends display and mix and match, you could have something like this. You could have the big 3 right there, the MCU Trinity, whatever you want to call them. And there you go. And they all fit in pretty well. Obviously, this one just looks kind of tall right now because of the camera angle, but they fit in really well. So, honestly, I highly recommend this figure if you haven't got it already. If you do have it, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you agree with some of my gripes, or do you think that this is a perfect representation of Thor? Just let me know down in the comments below. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave a like Don't forget to comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed, send this video to some other friends of yours. If you have anyone else that likes SH Figuarts or who likes Thor and wants to see this video, just let's keep this channel growing. Thank you guys for getting me all the way to, at the time of this video, I believe I have 76 subscribers. So we're growing. So thank you all. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at thecollector27. I'll put it somewhere around here. It'll say follow me. But anyway, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Keep collecting.